Hey, what's going on, everybody? Bauer Brown here. Welcome back to the channel, guys. These guys will have to pardon me tonight. I've been battling a cold again or something. I don't know. It's always something with me. And my voice is kind of in and out, and I don't know, it just is what it is. Doing a little bit too much yelling or talking or something lately. Who knows? But anyhow, in the video that I have for you guys today, this is going to be a very quick video. Somebody brought up to me about parked cars. They're still confused over the parked car thing. I know I didn't really get into it with a lot of detail in the last video. Yeah, maybe I should have. All right, but in any event, that's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to cover that one right now. We're going to cover that. Okay, so parked cars. All right, if we go up to our mine is in my gameplay transform group. We're going to go up to our traffic system, to our splines, okay? And we're going to open that up. And when you open up the traffic system, in there, you'll have a transform group for parked cars, okay? That always needs to be the very, very last transform group when you open that up, right? So when you open up traffic system, you have streets, LT, gap, blank. That needs to be at the very bottom, excuse me, because now apparently I got the hiccups too. So that needs to be the very last entry in there, right? Nothing below that. Parked cars is as low as you can go. Alrighty, so once you have that in there, all the parked cars are, right, is just, they're basically just empty, like basically an empty transform group. Nothing else. That's all there is to it, right? So when you look at a parked car, it's just this. All you see is a gizmo. You don't see anything else. So I recommended when we made these maps, right, when you made a blank map, that you kept that empty. Now, I believe when you go into, let's see, it's going to window, user attributes. All my attributes were missing on this one, so I'm not quite sure. Hold on, let's do this really quick. Let's just double check. And just always do this. If you're unsure of anything, double check, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my base game, okay? Let's go into data. Let's go into maps, map US, and I'm going to let that start up. Okay. So while that's starting up, let's head back over here. All right. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to check to make sure that there's no attributes, or that there might be an attribute tied to this parked cars transform group, right? So if you go up the traffic system, you can see we have our on create and stuff like that, right? Same thing. I'm checking for the parked cars. Pedestrian system, that has it. Let's see here. And parked cars, I'm not sure if it does. I kind of think that it doesn't for some reason, but I've been known to be wrong. So we are going to check that really quickly. And as soon as this fires up, takes a second, especially since I already have another version of the map running. Depends on your system. Like I said, my main system would not have an issue with this. And hopefully, I have a move scheduled sometime within the next couple of months. I haven't really worked that one out yet, but when I have the new office space set up, or in a new studio, things will go much, much better, and I will be able to do a lot more of this stuff when I'm at home. Like I said, I have more free time when I'm away than I do at home, but that's okay. So anyhow, let's go into the gameplay. All I'm doing is checking this. I'm going to check it and I'm going to close it right away. I'm going to go into splines. Okay. We're going to open up the traffic system. Let's make sure our user attributes are open so we can check that. Okay. Go down to the bottom of the traffic system. Like I said, if you look at there's parked cars way at the very bottom. And no, there's no attributes tied to that. And there's none tied to the parked cars either. So you're in good shape. You don't really need to do anything else with that, okay? All right, so like I said, now that you have yours and you moved it down to the very bottom, you can either take one of the, if you saved one of the parked cars, all you need to do is duplicate that. Like, let's go down here to this animal dealer, okay? Let's say we want to put a parked car in here somewhere. Where could we put it? Let's just say we want to park it up against the side of this building here. All right. So you would either take what's there. You can hit Control B, right? And just kind of plunk that down in its place. Now, this blue arrow is the way that he's going to be facing. So if you want him backed in, spin that around. If you want him like he pulled in, you would spin it around this way. Now you have to use your imagination with this, that, kind of see, that this is a car. So don't get it so close that the car is into the building. All right. If you have a hard time with this if you have a hard time with this in the beginning, like getting used to this until you get used to it, what you can do is bring in a vehicle. And this vehicle, if you don't recall where I grabbed this vehicle from, when you went over to your base game, go into data, go all the way down to vehicles. Okay. And this is on the base game, by the way. And then scroll down to where you see cars, and then just grab any one of these vehicles in here and then import it into your map. Okay. And then once you have that in there, you can use Control B. Alrighty. And you can place this vehicle however you want, like so. Okay. Just get them oriented however you want them, and make sure like he doesn't have like any floating wheels or anything like that, that he looks pretty good. Okay. And he looks pretty good. All right. Maybe a little crooked. That's kind of par for the course with me, though. Alrighty, and then what you can do is you can take the values, like your rotation and translation values, right? And remember, Shift Alternate C to copy all of those. Go back up to Park Car, right? That's where we want them. And then again, Shift Alternate V, put those all in there. Go back down to your car, and then do the same thing with rotation. Shift Alternate C. And back up the Park Car, and Shift Alternate V, and then there we go. So your Park Car is situated, right? So everything looks good with that Park Car now. And then what you can do is when you go back over to your next location, okay, wherever that happens to be, let's say, I can never remember where the auto shop. There it is, the auto shop. You can tell I don't work on this map enough to actually know where things are. But again, in here, like say if you want to have maybe some cars parked up in here, you can do the same thing. Just reuse that same vehicle, move it over here, orient it into the oriented how you would like, right? Get her all lined up there, and then the same thing. You would just copy those values over. From here, I would just duplicate that Park Car. Hit duplicate, right? And then take your your translation rotation values off of this Park Car that you had just moved and transfer it over here to this Park Car. All right. And give it a different name so you can tell which cars are where. All right. It's really, really easy. There's not much to that. Now, if for some reason you started this out and you didn't have anything in Park Cars, you can go ahead and create that transform group yourself. Right. Not a big deal. And if you had to create it, you just go down here and create transform group. Okay, and you can move that up inside your Park Cars and then just name it. Now, the only reason this one here is locked, okay, so that's, and I believe that Shift, is it Control Alternate G? Or Shift Alternate G, maybe. Can't remember. Let's go in our shortcuts since I do lock some of them, but I can't remember. I have a shortcut on my mouse and I remember how to do it on my other mouse. All right. So let's go up to easy peasy. Let's go to preferences, right? Let's go to shortcuts, and we want to create a lock group. All right. So it's Control Shift G. I thought I said that. Didn't I say that? Maybe not. All right. So Control Shift G. All right. So it's a lock group. So you have a lock group just like they have here. All right. No difference. And as a matter of fact, you can even go in and delete this transform that's in there because you don't need it. And you can just rename this this lock group to Park Car. And there you go. There is visibly no difference between what I just did there and what they have there. Okay, so with that Park Car, you just take it and Control B, put it where you want it. Oops. There you go. And you put it where you want it. Remember, the blue arrow is the way the vehicle is facing. Okay. And then that's it. That is literally all there is to Park Cars. Okay. So everywhere that you want to park car, just go around the map and place your vehicles in there wherever you want them. And the way this works is you are not selecting which vehicles go in there. It could be a van, could be a hatchback, could be a blue car, red car, green car. That's up to the game. Okay. So as the game engine's running, it will randomly select which cars go there and which cars do not. Okay. Sometimes there's no car there at all. Sometimes there is. Sometimes there's a van there. Sometimes there's not. It's up to the game. So it does it randomly. You just tell it where you want there to be a parked car, and the game will take care of the rest for you. Alrighty. Now I know there's been some questions floating around where they want cars parked there only at certain hours of the day to make it look like the business is open or closed. And there is ways to do that. We're not going to get into that now. It's a limited way to do that actually. And it works on like the visibility conditions. So it'll actually look like there's nothing there, but there will be something. It'll just be invisible. And you don't really want to do it that way because it looks like there's no car there, but as you come strolling through and you're going to smack right into an invisible object. Yeah, I don't really recommend that. But these are all little things that we'll find workarounds to in different videos. I'll show you a lot of different shortcuts and stuff like that in future videos. For now, just know that we are probably wrapping this series up within the next video or so. It could be the very next video, could be the last one, okay? And that's it. That's all I can think of with the parked cars. Like I said, the game engine will take care of what goes where. All you need to do is tell it where you want a parked car to be, which direction you want it facing, so on and so forth. And the game will take care of the rest for you. Just make sure that your parked car transform group is the very last one in your traffic system, and you're good to go. Now, everything in here you do not have to make sure it's hidden, right? So parked cars doesn't need to be hidden when you publish the map or anything like that. That can stay visible. It's just empty transform groups, so you have nothing to worry about there, okay? And that is it. That is parked cars in a nutshell. Super easy, right? No problemos. Alrighty, we're going to leave it at that. Hopefully that made sense to you. And with that being said, I am Bauer Brown, and I will see you on the next one.